Imagine walking down a street and seeing the world the way a computer sees it. Names floating above storefronts, turn-by-turn directions appearing on the sidewalk in front of your feet, messages appearing in the corner of your vision without ever touching a phone. Apple has been building exactly this for the better part of a decade, and the product is almost ready. Not the Vision Pro, that was the proof of concept. What is coming next is something far more ambitious and far more dangerous to every other device Apple has ever made. This is the story of the product Apple believes replaces the iPhone. Apple does not announce products until they are finished. That is one of the few rules the company has never broken in 50 years, which is why the steady drumbeat of leaks, patent filings, and supply chain reports about Apple's augmented reality glasses over the past 3 years is worth paying very close attention to. The pieces are assembling in public, the suppliers have been identified, the chip architecture has been confirmed by multiple independent analysts. Former Apple engineers who worked on the project have spoken, carefully, indirectly, about what it feels like to work on something this consequential. The product is not a headset. It is not a bulky device people strap to their face for a 2-hour gaming session. It is a pair of glasses, designed to be worn all day, every day, in every situation a normal person encounters, that happens to contain one of the most sophisticated optical and computing systems ever placed in a consumer product. The reason Apple's AR glasses are arriving now and not 5 years ago comes down to 3 technical problems that have only recently been solved. The first is the waveguide, projecting a sharp, bright, full-color image directly onto the lens of a pair of glasses, without the lens turning opaque, without requiring a power source the size of a brick, required a manufacturing breakthrough that did not exist at consumer scale until very recently. Apple's supplier network has been quietly building the production capacity for this component for the past 2 years. The second is the chip, the processing power required to run real-time computer vision, spatial mapping, and augmented overlays simultaneously, while lasting through a full day on a battery small enough to fit in a glasses frame, was not achievable with existing silicon. Apple's custom chip division, the same team that built the M-series processors that transformed the Mac, has been working on a dedicated AR chip since at least 2020. The third is software. Overlaying digital information onto the physical world in a way that feels natural rather than intrusive requires solving problems that are fundamentally different from building a phone operating system. The Vision Pro was, in part, a way to start solving those problems in public, with real users, real environments, and real edge cases, before the mainstream product arrived. Based on patent filings, supply chain intelligence, and the capabilities already demonstrated in Vision Pro, a picture of Apple's AR glasses has emerged that is both more conservative and more radical than most people expect. Conservative in the sense that the glasses will not, at first, project a full holographic world over everything the wearer sees. The initial experience is likely to be more targeted. Notifications, navigation, quick information overlays, real-time translation of text and speech. Features that are genuinely useful without requiring the wearer to constantly pay attention to a digital layer on top of reality. Radical in the sense that these features, done correctly and woven seamlessly into a pair of glasses someone wears all day, represent a fundamentally different relationship with information than anything that has existed before. The phone is something people pick up, glasses are something people wear. The shift from active retrieval to passive ambient awareness is not a small step. It is the same kind of leap that happened when the world moved from desktop computers to smartphones. Apple understands this. The company has spent 30 years studying how people interact with devices. The glasses are not designed around the technology. They are designed around the moments in a human day when having that technology instantly available, without the friction of reaching for a phone, changes what is possible. If Apple's AR glasses work the way the company intends, the implications for every other product in the consumer electronics industry are severe. The smartphone market is worth over $500 billion annually. It has been the defining product category of the past 15 years. Apple's iPhone accounts for roughly a third of all global smartphone revenue, and the ecosystem built around it, apps, services, accessories, is worth multiples of that. Apple is now building the product it believes eventually replaces the iPhone. That is not speculation. Tim Cook has said publicly on multiple occasions that augmented reality is as significant to Apple as the smartphone was. When the CEO of the most valuable company in the world says that about a product category, the implication is direct. The competitors are aware. Google has tried and failed twice with consumer AR products. Meta has spent billions on Ray-Ban smart glasses in the Quest headset line, building toward the same destination from a different direction. Samsung has an AR project internally that has been in development for years, but none of them have Apple's combination of vertical integration, supply chain control, software ecosystem, and design culture. The company that built the device everyone carries in their pocket is now building the device everyone wears on their face. The most credible reports place Apple's AR glasses in a consumer release window somewhere between 2026 and 2028. That range matters because of what Apple typically does in the 2 years before a major product launch. Supply chain contracts get locked, developer programs get activated quietly, the regulatory filings begin appearing in jurisdictions around the world. All three of those signals are now present. Component suppliers in Taiwan and South Korea have confirmed long-term capacity commitments for AR-specific optical components. Apple's developer documentation has begun containing references to spatial computing APs that do not correspond to any existing product, and regulatory submissions in multiple countries contain hardware descriptions that match nothing in Apple's current lineup. The convergence of these signals does not confirm a launch date, but it confirms that the product exists, that it is in advanced development, and that the infrastructure required to bring it to market at scale is being assembled right now. The deepest question about Apple's AR glasses is not when they arrive, or what they cost, or what they can do on launch day. The deepest question is what happens to human behavior when the information layer of the world becomes invisible. Right now, people interrupt conversations to check their phones. They stop walking to look at maps. They hold cameras up to translate menus in foreign restaurants. Every one of those friction points disappears when the information is already in front of the eyes of the person who needs it. That is not a small change. That is a rewiring of the daily experience of being a person in a world full of information. Apple has been working toward this moment for a very long time. The iPhone was announced in January 2007. Within 10 years, over 3 billion people carried one. The product did not just create a new market, it reorganized the entire technology industry around itself. Apple's AR glasses are not the iPhone. They are something more disruptive, because unlike the phone, which replaced a device people already carried, the glasses are replacing something people have never had: a seamless, always-on connection between the digital world and the physical one. The product is almost ready. The question is whether the world is ready for what comes next.